You know, I'm a lit nigga, I'm a lover, I'm a singer, I'm a leader, I'm an activist, I'm a philanthropist, I'm all of it. What's going on, people? You can definitely catch up with the Book of Daniel on all social platforms. It's Mr. Daniel Dickey, at Mr. Daniel Dickey. What my Cash App is $ Mr. Daniel Dickey. My SoundCloud, you can find out all about what I'm up to and my adventures on through there.
Hey, this is Louis T, IMOLT podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Look us up because we got a new episode.
Champion bound, I'm Malcolm X with a pinch of Christ. Catches with the jab, I'm Floyd May, my defense is nice. Crafted by a Mac, I'm embedded to get the cheese. Genius with the beats, this pop off and I move with ease. Genius. Heart cold, apply.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Inquisitive Mind, Louis T on the Red Couch. Today we have a very special guest all the way from ATL, Hotlanta, whatever you want to say. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
So, my name is Mr. Daniel Dickey. I am a Wilmington native in the building. Checking out the inquisitive mind of Louis T this evening.
And, so we are going to kind of go down the rabbit hole of the Book of Daniel here this evening.
So, America, this inquisitive mind of Louis T is definitely, I want to say early on, so he's got this little thing about him, the way he communicates. So, how we go into this interview in this inquisitive mind? Listen, I need you to make sure you're nice. I need you to bring me a warm energy. So I don't know
definitely warm.
I don't know what you're on, but just even on the entry, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm up here, bro.
So real love. Who was real love? Who is real love?
So he is. So he is me. Essentially, So real love. I'm a person who is. I love people. I love God and I love people, and my life has always been in every chapter. It's always been those two things were always apparent. And so he's me. I love everyone, but I'm also a real. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real nigga though too. So it's so balancing those two things at all times. It's like the Malcolm and the Martin.
So, how did you get into singing?
So I'm from a family of singers and preachers and civil rights activists and some of the really cool educators and stuff here. So it was music was always, my dad was a DJ. In fact, Sweet D's, the croissants that you have now been indoctrinated into the society of. What do you think of that croissant?
It was delicious.
Yes. So
all the praise that WECT gave it didn't do it enough justice.
So my dad's DJ name at WWIL when I was a kid was Sweet D. And so it's so it's always just been I've always been a kid who had a lot to look at as examples and stuff like that, and so it made me decide that it made a lot of sense to be all that I could be and to do a lot. And so a part of that is being a singer and a songwriter. It's something that I swim in those waters. And my brother Lauren, he was growing up, my brother Lauren was my brother Lauren opened for Luther Vandross, he is sing with Shirley Caesar and stuff. So singing has just always been something that's been a part of me and a part of my family. Just music being played at home. My dad and mom would be singing just to some cool records. So yeah, music is definitely a part of the Book of Daniel. That's the real love. In fact, my band is actually the Real Love Experience. When it's Mr. Daniel Dickey and the Real Love Experience, it's my band.
Okay.
Yeah, and my band is a lot of lit dudes.
Okay.
Yeah. My guitar player plays for Leon Bridges and Quincy Jones. My keyboard player, he actually just went out to Cali and is playing the organ and keys at Warren Campbell's church. But we're a cool band situation. That's where Real Love is now. In this iteration of Daniel at 42 Real love is still definitely a part of my life. It's my live band. We rock shows. I've even performed for like some African royalty at birthday parties and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's what's up. So did I meet you at Blessed Music?
Quite possibly. Yeah, no,
Or,
definitely.
I was saying it was either that or through A-Bomb.
So I think it could have definitely been, it could have been both of those, because around that same time I was doing both of those things. Like, definitely, I feel like I started, trying to remember what year it was that I started working at Blessed Music. Because I want to say it may have been before I'm trying to decide if it was before or after I went off to college. Like did I come home from college one of those
I want to say
first
it
years?
was after college, at least when I met you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely. So, but I started working at Bless, like definitely like in that kind of college, high school in that kind of moment. Because I was definitely on campus at my college selling CDs and DVDs. Sean would definitely have all the joints early. Like it was definitely gonna be early. Yeah, it was like I got that new 50 Cent like 6 days before it comes out. Yes, so yeah, definitely. I was definitely moving those pies on campus. Like definitely, people got a lot of fun records and movies, courtesy of Blessed Music on Castle, all the way at Barbara Scotia College in Concord. So yeah, so I know for me it was college. It was when I really started working and doing all that, working at the studio and all that kind of stuff.
What was that experience for you like?
So for me, it was like, it was fast paced. It was a lot going on. I was definitely a kid who you can I'm someone who you can trust me with your life. You know what I'm saying? And so people feel that energy from me at most times. Well, at all times usually. And so it's just, it was cool being able to cause Sean would definitely leave and go and do stuff, and he would leave me at the studio, and I would record people, I would ring people up. And so that was just as a college kid, that was cool as hell. I was majoring in mass comm. I was in college on vocal scholarship. And so music was definitely it was a good place to just be able to figure out what kind of person I was.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I also, but when I was here working at Blessing College, I was also interning at WWAY. So I was an intern reporter for WWAY, and then I was working at Blessed Music.
Oh, I didn't know about the WWAY.
Yeah, definitely. I did that in that window of time, and I worked on Shallow Hal.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was cool as hell in Charlotte with Gwyneth Paltrow, Jack Black, Jason Alexander.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
I was thinking about one of the TV shows. Oh,
yeah. No. The movie, The Fairley Brothers.
So yeah, that's a good transition for me. So being in Wilmington around all the movie industry, which I think at the time I know I took for granted. Did that help your transition to Atlanta? What?
So for me, I think life has always been just trying to figure out how to get paid to just be myself. It's always just been for me. It's like once I figured out how to do that, things just became just a more, the path was clearer, it was easier, it was less resistance. And so that's just where I am with it.
Yeah. But what actually led you to make that move?
So it was definitely a lot going on. So I graduated college, and I decided I was going to take a year and just chill and just be in Wilmington. And I was doing that, just kind of like a sabbatical. I was traveling, doing mission trips to all across the country, to New Orleans before Katrina, to Jackson, Mississippi, to different things. I had that year, that year after I graduated college. And then I started, working in banking and stuff like that here. And I was just ultimately that. Let's
not skip over that. You weren't just, because you put me onto this. It wasn't just, you weren't just working at Wachovia.
Yeah.
Tell them a little bit about the bank you're working at.
So I worked at two different banks. So I started off at Fort Sill. That was my first real job after college. Mm-hmm. So I started working at Fort Sill, the bank that was inside Walmart. Okay. But they were paying $15 an hour, to start, and the manager, the way I got hired to work at this bank was just really like interesting, like super like actually it was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, like so I was there and I was banking with them and I went in to talk with the manager about a problem I was having with my account. And it was this old, burly white dude. Mr. B was what they called him. He was probably like definitely all of like 6'5", but he was like probably 65-year-old white guy, former military. But it was like he just apparently really enjoyed the way that I talked to him about the problem I was having with my account, so much that he offered me a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he offered me a job in me going to talk to him about some intercepts that I definitely needed taken off. And so I told him in that moment he offered me a job, and I told him I was like, listen, dude, I'm still in my year of chilling out, and so I told him I was like, I graduated. It was like June. I was like, I'm not going to be looking for a job until June. And he apparently noted in his system and had Adolph Richards. You know what I'm saying? Junior, he actually called me like, hey, Mr. B told me to call you to offer you a job. Like, and it was like definitely months before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was funny. So, funny story. So I started at Fort Sill, and then I met Andre, who got hired as the branch manager at Generations Community Credit Union. And then he was just, when he got hired, he's like, dude, I definitely need you to come and help me run this bank. So, then Generations.
And Generations was like a black-owned bank,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Minority-owned and operated credit union out of the Raleigh-Durham area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of those RIP Generations.
Yeah, RIP Generations. Yeah, definitely.
So
that was probably like 2005 for me. Yeah, in that space. Shout out to this brown apple.
we can edit that.
I feel like it happened.
Yeah. So,
but you know what? Really quick. So it was just kind of having all of that happening, and so having the internships and having the experience working in music and in media and stuff like that. It was just like I knew that I needed to be in a larger market, and so just to go back to that question and answer it a different, to continue the answer. Mm-hmm. And so it was deciding between New York, Los Angeles, or Atlanta. That was, I had like a choose your own adventure situation going on. So yeah, I inevitably picked Southern hospitality. I needed a place where sweet tea was guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And it just ended up being this emerging market still. And just, because I'm someone who just, people definitely, get warm vibrations from me. So it's just very easy to really meet. And I got to Atlanta. And I kind of got like the keys to Atlanta in like month 3 of living in Atlanta. Yeah.
Because you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you started working for someone, a real mover and shaker, kind of like took you under her wing, right?
Yes, Nicole Garner Scott. Now it was she with the Garner Circle PR. It was like, and the thing was, it was like I told you, it was within the first 3 months. It was like I moved in May of 2007, and moved in May of 2007, and this party that I went to just opened the entire city to me, and that was June. It was June or July of that same year, 2007.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so it was this crazy party. Me and my homeboy Tierre Brooks. Tierre went to Livingstone when I was at Barber Scotia, which is like very close, Salisbury to Concord, North Carolina. And so he was friends with my homeboy Ash Blake. Ashley Blake, he was He was super nice in baseball here. Went to Hanover. But yeah, so we definitely went to this party. We met some girls at this place in Atlanta called Slice on Peter Street, another like cool black area that has a lot of historic stuff, Castleberry Hills. And but yeah, so we met these girls and they invited us to this party. And we get to this party and we're seeing Andre 3000. We're seeing Big Boy. We're seeing Chingy. Mind you, this is 2007. We're seeing Bobby Valentino. We're seeing Shaka Zulu. We're seeing like Keenan Johnson. We're seeing Jazzy Faye. We're seeing just like all the lit Monica. We're seeing like all the lit Atlanta niggas. They all are going to this party. We're pulling up in Bentleys and all that type of Hollywood shit. Ludacris. And then like just also like some of the elected officials that were, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a high level, not eye level situation. And so we were dressed for it and everything. And so we pulled up to the door, and the shorty who was at the door, she was like, yeah, we like our names weren't on the list. Mind you, we watching all these lit niggas walking in. And so the security dude's like, yo, step to the side. So I waited for the situation to get clear. And so then I went back up to him. I was like, yo, dude, like, just, can we check one more time? And then I was also giving them the girls' names who invited us, because we were invited everybody's two baddies, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, I asked were their names on the list, and he was like, nah, their names weren't on the list either. I was like, big bro, it's got to be something you could do for us. Like, I just moved here from North Carolina. Like, we met the two shorty names I just gave you, and like, I don't know what's going on, but you see we fly. Like, listen, can we figure something out, big bro? And he was like, yo, step to the side real quick. So he let a few more people in, and then he just gestured for us to come in. Like, and so in this party, it was open bar, like a real open bar. Like the open bar where it's like you could just be like, yeah, I need 2 glasses of Ace of Spade. It was not going to be any conversation. You would tip whatever your discretion was, and that was this party. It was litty, and so everyone in there just kind of, because you were in this room, it was like upstairs, obviously like very secure, and so it was just like, it was assumed that you must be like a lit nigga. So everybody's giving me their cell phone numbers and all that kind of stuff like that, including Nicole Garner. I was working in banking. I was working at BB&T out there. So then that mortgage crisis situation happened. And so I lost that job, just right at that point. And, so I'd already told Nicole, I was like, yo, listen, like, just, if you need, help with anything, let me know. Like, I'm around. I just moved here and I'm available. And so then she called me up. And so from that point on, it was like, I worked, with her for about 7 years. And just during that time, we were doing the BT Hip Hop Awards. We were doing, we were launching the Xbox games, launched Grand Theft Auto.
Like, when you say you were doing the BET Awards, like, what's some of the things that you or y'all would do?
So we would be in control of the publicity. So, like getting the press release out on the wire with, who's confirmed to be walking the red carpet. All that kind of stuff like that, and just, like location and everything, and then like really like managing the intake, checking people, off. Like, it was very high end. It's like, if you didn't have the proper credentials, like, this ain't everybody, like, this ain't like a walk up pull up situation. And it's very much like, you're not gonna be good, like, and you're not gonna be good. And so even being a person to have those kinds of conversations with people. But getting the press release out, managing like on-site interviews, stuff like that, managing the VIP situation, managing the engagement with the sponsors and stuff like that on site. So like managing the activation. So, and then of course having the publicity arm as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you said Xbox, because I feel like I cut you off. You're going somewhere with that.
I don't know where I was going, but I'm here. Hey.
And working with her, that also led you to, from what I hear, appearance on Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives, or neither one.
So I've actually been seen on a few shows, but I think the biggest and like the coolest one was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So we produced an event with Tommy Ford, like Tommy from Martin, and Kenya Moore.
At first I thought you meant Tom Ford.
No. Like Tommy Ford, the real Tommy Ford. You know what I'm saying? Like,
R.I.P.
Yes, R.I.P. Tommy Ford. Yeah. Yes, definitely. But so we produced an event, and so the event was something that we got hired from Kenya Moore to produce, and so she brought in Tommy as well to do this gala called the Forever Relevant Gala. And so we were brought in to like help and to execute, the vision behind that event. And so the beginning of the episode, it was the season finale too, also. So it was a big moment in the series for that season. I want to say it was season 5 or season 6. But either way, so we the first part is us having a meeting talking about the event, and then the actual finale where the sparks and stuff fly and all that is at this event that we pulled together.
Okay. So how do you work the balance of being an artist yourself and then being around such, like power players. Because, I mean, most people, I would say most people that's not either you or me would be like super like, hear my demo or here, let me sing something for you. And I'm pretty, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're not that type of dude.
No.
How did you navigate, like, how do you navigate those situations?
So I think that to me, I think a part of it has definitely just kind of been what's been unfolding as I've gotten older, is the ability and the grasp and the understanding that I am a Renaissance man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not monolithic in any aspect of who I am or what I do, and just owning, excuse me, and just taking ownership of that at all times. Like just like I am a singer. I am a thinker. I'm a strategist. I'm a executor. I'm a manifester. I'm a sage. I'm wisdom. I'm all of these things. You know what I'm saying? I also got a wicked jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I definitely help people, you know, make their dreams come true. And so understanding that, I was like, those are all of my gifts and my callings and my abilities. And they're just essentially my utility belt from Batman. Like, I bring all of those things to the table. And so, like, a part of that is an artist. A part of that is, you know, it's all of the different things. And understanding I get to be all of them all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Renaissance man. And I think we all are. I think that's this country has us kind of put into a space where I think we're operating at about, I don't know, 40% of our true capacity. Like, I don't think we're close to what we're capable of. You know what I'm saying? I think because we look at things so monolithically. You know, people are working at one job usually. Maybe they have an extracurricular activity. Maybe they even have a side hustle. And they do that, and then they do that over again, and they do that over again. But we were born to be all that. We were born to be these big lights that were supposed to shine and, you know, and light a path for the next generation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on with it. I think that's how I balance it out. I understand to whom much is given, much is required. You know, I'm a lit nigga, I'm a lover, I'm a singer, I'm a leader, I'm an activist, I'm a philanthropist, I'm all of it.
That's what's up. And so you said you worked for her for like 7 years.
Yeah, and then started my own agency.
What was the point where you said the leave like something that was at its time it's like leaving Bad Boy when Biggie's still there.
Okay.
You know, and to start off and do something different. Like, what was that motivation, thought process, and were you nervous to leave something a little bit secure to step out on your own?
So no, I never have been, like, actually, honestly, like, I've definitely, like, I think really, I feel like I came into my own at like 12 years old. Like, I was a kid at 12 who was making decisions and deciding how I wanted things to go. And understanding that I have an ability to execute the things that I think. You know, I've read some really funny books. I was one of those kids who was reading the Hardy Boy books. I was reading The Great Brain. I was reading those Choose Your Own Adventure books. And so I was definitely understanding that my life was a story and that I was, at the end of the day, essentially the author. Like, you know, and so it's been why it's the book of Daniel. It's been why it's taken me through all the different mischief and all that, because I'm definitely trying to think through how to get to a good vibration and to just figure out how to just be, you know, and get paid to be.
Okay. And so what is the name of your group?
My agency is called the Resource Guild. It's the Resource Guild. We are a 360-degree brand management and strategy consulting agency, and it's been 7 years. Actually, just we're like in our like anniversary window right now, and so there wasn't a nervousness. It was just, to me, like, because I'd always been a contractor, essentially just being contracted out with you know, essentially my agency, to work with the Garner Circle, you know, and so it was a situation where I felt like, to me, like, I love the publicity part of it, but a lot of times, having all the background that I had from working in news stations and all of that kind of stuff like that, I understood that some businesses aren't ready for publicity. Like, that's not like, you know, I think, like, so when you turn the lights on, you can't when they're really on, they're like really on. And so at that point, you see every, imperfection. You see all the, so like, look, so if it's roaches running around this motherfucker, like, we're going to see those because the lights are bright. You know what I'm saying? If it needs to be a paint job, if there's a ratchet girl at the front door, that's the first thing that people interact with when they come into your business. It's any of those different things that could be some of the reasons why you aren't popping. Yeah. And so being able to, for me, being a Virgo and being someone who...
Happy birthday, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And so from being someone, so having that analytical Virgo aspect, having this story that's always had some larger than life aspects to it, and just figuring out my version of that. And so the Resource Guild kind of became this playground where I could do all the stuff that I could see that I feel like could benefit a business. And so that's why we did it. So we advise our clients on their public relations, their branding, their advertising, their consumer engagement. We'll talk to them even about just some things that we'll do in-house, like, and then some of those things that we just are so connected. Like, that's why it's a guild of resources, and a guild is a collection of artisans and masters in their trades. And so we're a guild of resources. And so that's kind of why I came with the Resource Guild, and that's what we're up to. And like the fact that we've been in that time, being able to work with brands like Ferrari, Maserati, Miller Coors, Hennessy, 2 Chainz, like even putting out projects for Young Dolph, Bankroll Fresh, and working on lots of different movies. Yeah, no, definitely. And so I realized for me, honestly, Louis, it was that I realized that my spirit invites the good things to come. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it is. And it's just really just like, as long as I can stay as pure as I can be, and you know what I'm saying? And have a way of doing right by people, doing good for people, bringing good vibrations to people, and that creating the karma that's always moving around me.
Okay. So like something like that, like a brand ambassador or whatever, like if someone wanted to hire you, like, is there like price levels depending on the level of support they need, or usually how would what am I trying to ask you?
So I think engagement with my agency and with that part of my adventure. So we do consultations, like, because sometimes it's really just a cool conversation with someone, just to give them just a kind of overview, just some perspective that comes with a lot of different experience and with it and through it. And so just giving them that perspective on things, and some of the stuff is stuff that they've already thought about. And so you get to affirm and confirm some things to them, but then also having, the ability to see outside of a few different boxes and being able to have that conversation with them. And so we can do consultations, like those are hourly, and those begin at $150 an hour. Or then we can go into like services where we actually execute the stuff that we talked about. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how that goes.
All right. And I know, you're up here in Wilmington. You're hanging out with Support the Port Said, and I know he did a stint down in Atlanta, and he talks very highly about you. Lists you as one of his like inspiration mentors. Mm-hmm. How did y'all journeys intersect?
So we actually met through Blessed Music. Yeah, so we met through Blessed Music. He was definitely like, being a kid who was like, I graduated high school, and was, away at college, and being able to interact with those kids. And after I, graduated and, had been on with my life, when they were like 16 years old, I was 26 years old. And so meeting these 16-year-olds, it was a space that I knew that I was, I knew that space. I was familiar with being 16 and all the shit that was going on in the 16-year-old version of Daniel. And always being a kid who was like, I was taught at a very young age to be someone who was a servant and someone who was, always had a regard for his fellow man and that kind of thing. And so from like working soup kitchens and doing all kinds I was doing that stuff when I was like 11, 12 years old. And so now at 26, I just, I saw being able to be of service and, I've taken kids to camps all across the world. Like I was like their leader, and it was me, and I was the quarterback of taking them to Branson, Missouri for a camp and stuff like that. And so just knowing that that was a part of what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to be a light to kids and to people. And so Cedric was one of those kids, and he was figuring out going from high school and figuring out high school with a lot going on, like in the streets, and people would definitely really get murdered in Wilmington. And so getting him off to Pembroke, and he graduated, and he was definitely a kid who reached out, and I at that point was able to put him into a radio show and producing a radio show for us. That I was doing with this girl named Lily Mae, who I love. And shout out to Lily Mae. She was just on this Netflix show. But I met her at that same party I met Nicole Garner at. Year one of ATL, like month two. And so Cedric was our producer, and he would come on and talk about and do the show. And then I hired him into my agency, of course. So we did some cool stuff. Like when Cedric was at the Resource Guild, we did the Vancouver Fresh video. We did his album release parties, all kinds of stuff. I even have a story about how I wanted to maybe potentially have Cedric killed for allowing these niggas to gang up and throw me into the pool at Lake Lanier. It was like Vancouver Fresh. It was like a bunch of niggas, and it was like they were really grabbing chicks and they were grabbing niggas and throwing them into the pool, and Cedric allowed that to happen. So, you know what I'm saying? Cedric, I still, just if you see this. But, and so just kind of working with him and just kind of showing him, just how, the perspective and how, you know what I'm saying, like just that be all you can be kind of vibe. And that's something I've always been to, kids. And I was that to Cedric, and he came back to Wilmington, and he is like killing the game, like coloring books, organization that's like impacting the kids, impact during like hurricanes, and being a nationally recognized organization to send relief and stuff like that too. And it's like one of my, proteges. It's like, if I tease on, because I have a podcast, and I tease on a podcast, but I feel this way also. It's like I say that I'm Yoda Miyagi. Yeah.
So what's up? What's going on with Daniel Dickey, the musician, right now?
So I've been like catching a couple of cool grooves. Catching some grooves, and like planning right now just to do like something that's gonna like an intimate event at my house that will go like Instagram live or something, from where I'm gonna perform live with my band. That's something that's like in my queue right now. Otherwise, it's like, the goal is to just get finished with the project. And, bring just to be more and give more to the world. Like, really like working through like the whole, the public speaking aspects of it, the Les Brown, Tony Robbins aspects of it. And just kind of being the kind of person that just, uses this light, uses this vibration to impact as many of my people and our people as possible. Is kind of, that's what's next for me just as a person. I think it really is just coming from a perspective of just being all that I am and just giving more of it to the world.
What do you think of R&B right now? Like, what do you think of music, this new school generation?
So I think because these kids are so emotional, like Carl Thomas, I'm emotional, like very emotional, and so just the ways that they unpack emotions, and like when you look at them, like just when you look at like these next generations of kids, they're usually like kind of zombie cloned into their phones, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that they're zombie cloned into their phone. They aren't really interacting, socially as much in the verbal space. And then, of course, dealing with COVID and that kind of stuff like that has kind of, made everybody kind of retreat into a less, physically engaged experience. But because they're so emotional, the music that's really lit for them is the music that's very much like, they like it soft and sappy and all that type of shit like that. So I think R&B is definitely experiencing a resurgence. Like I think there's some artists like a Her, for instance, who's super duper dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she ain't giving you no up tempo. She ain't giving you no tempo. It's some smooth ass, cool ass shit that she's giving you. Like a Daniel Caesar, a Lucky Day. Just like some of these like new school artists, they're definitely giving you some cool ass, some live instruments and that kind of shit. So I think R&B is experiencing a cool resurgence right now.
Who's your favorite of the new school?
I could never bring it down to just one. Yeah, no, I mean, like a few of those artists I named, I like them. There's a kid named Tay Walker, like he was the former lead singer from the Internet. And so I love PJ Morton, and he's not like new school to me, but he's like new school, to a certain degree to the world. And so like I love PJ. I love a lot of people. I'm a lover. That's why I'm real love. Like I really do love. I'm here for the love. I love a lot of artists. But yeah, those are definitely some of the ones I love.
Have you been tuning into the verses?
I have, definitely.
What have been your favorite verses so far?
So that's a tough one. But so I enjoyed the Brandy Monica. Like.
Oh, thank you for not getting me in that, by the way. I'm in Atlanta. I asked one favor.
Listen, let me tell you something. That was Fort Knox. It was Fort Knox. To a certain degree, it was definitely Fort Knox though. But it just wasn't in the cards. Look, and did you follow up with me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you make sure the moment moved along, or you just kind of threw a Hail Mary pass?
You threw the Hail Mary. I was back in Wilmington by the time that started. I was like, man, I ain't heard nothing.
Okay, got it.
I'm ready to go, but I'm on the highway.
Yes.
85.
Yes. See, look. So I mean, that's what he did, America. I'm taking 48% of the responsibility, but so the Brandy Monica, the DMX Snoop Dogg, like just to have the dog battle was just like that was really fun and just funny to see. The Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, it was like what I enjoyed about the Gladys Knight Patti LaBelle was it was educational, and I think that's what's the cool thing is about verses in general.
Yeah.
Like you educate these people who don't really know music and who made the music, and you know what I'm saying, like who actually made the music, how dope they actually were, like how more times than not, kids are and people are finding out how they slept on somebody's catalog.
Yeah,
like I didn't realize that was.
The thing about the Gladys and Patty, the way they still blow.
Right. No, exactly.
Like, no auto-tune necessary.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like what we got. Yeah. Definitely. And that's why that one was like that's why I said that one was even more educational, because you hear these names, but like seeing them beside each other, you realize that voices are just voices. Mm-hmm. Like, and people have a dope voice, like, and their voices do different things. Mm-hmm. Like some voices are, like they have this type range. And then some voices have this type range. It's like, Patti LaBelle, it's levels to the shit. Like, there's some shit I'm going to be able to do that. Gladys, she's not really about to be able to do this too, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Gladys had her vibe. She had her pocket. She touches her notes, and she made her dope music. And so I think that was really, like, interesting to see that. You know what I'm saying? And so I like the educational aspect of verses.
Okay. So what is next for the Resource Guild Agency? Resource Guild Agency or just Resource Guild?
It's the Resource Guild. But so to me, what's next is just, we're working on campaigns. We're producing film content. We're producing TV shows. We are, really guiding businesses and taking them through, all the different things to get them popping. And so we're just getting people popping. That's kind of what the Resource Guild is like always doing. Like people come to us for that. That's kind of what they kind of come for. So we'll be doing that. I think, you know, pre-COVID, we were looking at like kind of launching some of our like own like signature you know, like campaigns. And so we'll see what 2021 has as it relates to doing that kind of stuff. Is in the inquisitive mind of Louis T. Did all of your inquisitions, like, was there things that you had any additional inquiries about that we didn't touch on?
I mean, I'll probably watch this and be like, think of something. And then I'll be away. Maybe if I'm down in Atlanta, maybe I'll catch you down there. Or if you're up here, I'll catch you again. And we can have the book of Daniel. Oh, speaking, I do have one.
Okay.
So there is an actual book of Daniel in the work, right? Tell us about that.
Well, I have a couple of books that are in my head that I need to get out and into the world. I have a book just like about my perspective. It's my mantra. It's something I call the Chem Principle, and it keeps me where I am. And it's my belief that if you keep it moving forward positively and productively, no matter what comes your way in life. Your good things, like the things that you deserve, the things that you've earned, will manifest themselves like right on your path. Like I don't think that you have to be hanging out the window and all that kind of stuff like that for your opportunities and your blessings to come. Like they should go where your footsteps take you. And so that's the Chem Principle. It's my belief. So writing a book about that. So that's one of the books that I have in my head. And then the other one is something I am calling I'm teasing with the title, the 51% Rule.
Yeah, you told me about that when we had lunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, and that's more. It's a social experiment, if you will.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
And where can people find you at?
So I can be found on social media platforms as at Mr. Daniel Dickey. That's Dickey. And you can find me on all social platforms and stuff there. And you can find our agency at Resource Guild, theresourceguild.com. And you can catch us up and, you know, see what we're up to, what kind of adventures and stuff we're doing. Like, I have a podcast at this point.
Where can people, what's the name of the podcast?
The podcast is called What He Just Say.
Okay.
Because it's just, you're like I'm really with the shits, and so the podcast is like we're talking about pop culture. We're talking
and who is we?
So I do a podcast with a producer. He's one of the producers at NBA TV, and he's an artist, a rapper, and fashion designer. His name is Marcel Alexander, and then our other roommate is. He is the hilarious international DJ. He's like a part of the Trap Karaoke tour and all that kind of stuff like that. And his name is Abe Hyde. So those are the two guys that I do this podcast with.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's like a Danielism of the day on every episode where I like give some type of motivational word and that kind of thing. But we're talking about Trump, we're talking about Lou Will, you know what I'm saying, Magic City, leaving a bubble, but really there for obviously a funeral. But we're responding to things that are happening, in pop culture.
Oh, that's what's up.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool show because we do our segments are we actually pull out like audio from people saying stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we listen to it, and then we react to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about Ice Cube's contract with Black America. Did you see that?
No, I haven't.
Yo, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, but on the Joe Budden podcast, they talked about that. Because they was talking about how the music industry, like what Kanye, the rant Kanye's on now,
mm-hmm.
That's kind of what they were saying about the music industry, especially hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
We need this, like, hey, if we don't have this,
yeah.
we're kind of like pulling out.
Yeah.
So, but yes, that was
like a code of ethics. And
yeah.
No, I think that's definitely been lost. Like the decorum. Like I think decorum and stuff like that is kind of what's been lost. Like, and I think that's a part of it is men not really helping boys become men. You know?
And just people like, why do you get to own my masters forever?
Yo, listen, listen, and that's, but at the end of the day, like, you know, what we got to look at is like, you know, these industries are owned by white people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that sounds like the type of rule a white person would make. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had control of the cotton. Like, niggas wasn't getting... Look, niggas wasn't getting a masters. They was calling somebody a master. Like, that was that was the economic... That's how we were introduced to economics here.
So, true, but we've supposedly come a long way since then.
Yeah, but have we really though? Because it's like the same people own all the shit that they own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you know, we're, you know, to me, it's just like we're just kind of always in almost like a hamster wheel of it all, really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
story.
it's a loop, and it's not a big broad loop. It's usually like a small loop.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how we got that. Oh, we were talking about Ice Cube and everything.
Yes, and so you got the Ice Cube shirt on. That was like, you know, what made me definitely. Yes. So yes. Louis over here making a mess, America. I'll tell them. I'll be your eyes and ears, America. Yes.
I think I'm ready to try me another Sweet D's croissant. So
listen, let me tell you something. I will never get in the way. I appreciate you having me, you know, on your show.
Thank you for coming all the way from Atlanta just to do this.
Or like do a bunch of other stuff and then congratulations, here I am. Like, yes, look, guys, let me tell you something, America. Just we're gonna bring this full circle, okay? I show up at Lewis's house on early, actually, and this guy, the guy says, "Oh, you guys are early." Like he was like we were bothering him to be early. I mean, just in Wilmington, North Carolina, the nerve of us. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, it's, you know, congratulations for having this moment. Yes.
All right, y'all.
Champion bound, I'm Malcolm X with a pinch of Christ. Cashes with the jab, I'm Floyd May, my defense is nice. Crafted by a Mac, I'm embedded to get the cheese. Genius with the beats, this pop art and I move with ease. Heart cold, apply pressure to form a diamond. This poetic justice, but Pac made it a form of rhyming. Get the whole noodle caboodle without boiling rhyming. Like I got a flame on my belly, reduce the stomach.